We're at Barr Hammock Preserve. Go out for a little walk. Dude, Spanish moss. I go crazy for it. I have a story I want to tell, but I just don't know how to convey that story. And it's been definitely a learning process. Like over the past, 2 months, I've taken hundreds of, I don't want to say hundreds. Over the past 2 months, I've been taking hours and hours of footage. Like I tried one with me running. I have a GoPro, and then I bought one of those housing units to go under the water. And I like it. It's not exactly, I couldn't convey the story that I want to say. And dude, it's so chill back here. I'm down. I really like talking and interacting with people, but it's been, a struggle, definitely because of COVID. And then when I closed the restaurant, I was trying to find the bottom of that bottle. But after a while, what am I gonna do? Just tired of doing that. And I reached out yesterday on my Facebook profile about this idea I have where I miss traveling and I miss all the people that I've met over these past 18 years since I started loading up my backpack and going everywhere. And I certainly don't have the means now. And before, I just didn't have the time. But so the premise of the show, the idea of the show is that locally, where I'm able to drive around and meet people, we'll have this selfie cam, and we just do about a 30-minute walk, and we talk about what's going on with their life. I always like to get down to the nitty-gritty with people, but you have to be cautious as we're putting this out there, because there's a lot of information that I know or someone else knows about me or any given subject, and the whole point is not to blow up anybody's scene. It's more of just my connection with them and really conveying that story to everybody out there. And so I don't really like holding the camera for it felt weird, like camera like this. It feels really narcissistic, and even as I'm doing this right now, it feels odd. And I think the reason I like it out here is that there's not a bunch of people staring at me. And then there's the anxiety of putting up something that's crap, but at some point you just have to do something, Every adventure starts with one step. And when I look back on my cooking career, if I was to look at what I was producing back then with my skill level now, it's not shame, but I'm like, dude, you got a lot of work. But don't judge somebody from the beginning. You have to judge, what does it go? I don't know. There's some phrase where you can't look at what you want. Dude, I'm gonna have to cut this because that doesn't make any sense. I have a picture that I want to do. It's just, I don't know how to get there yet, but with a little bit of practice and me constantly just pushing this stuff out. And so when I talk a little bit more about that, what really got me on the whole YouTube crave was I saw this guy, Lil Shaq. It's a reaction video. And Lil Shaq is this, I think he's a DJ, but black dude. And he reacts to music videos and then gives his take on it. And I'm not I like hip hop, but not really the new shit. And as I'm searching through it, I find Freebird. I don't remember what I was doing, mowing the lawn or something. And he goes off, ham. I'll put the link in there so you guys can watch it. But I just loved his emotion that he was feeling. And as I'm watching it with him, I'm like, dude, wait, wait. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And then, as it just like crescend. But he didn't, the funny part was, is as I'm watching with him, he didn't have that same reaction to like the blown out, gnarly guitar solo and everything drops. But I mean, that's the whole point, is that, whoa, check this out. Giant. I'm not here to fuck up any spiders bullshit. I don't know if you guys can see it. All right. Reaction videos. So I'm watching this guy's reaction, and then there's a rabbit hole of, hundreds and thousands of people reacting to stuff. And there was one, what is it? The Righteous Brothers. And there's a whole slew of, Black Americans reacting to what sounds like a black voice, but it's, two white guys. And I watched a shit ton of them, and then yesterday I tried making reaction videos, and I have such a wide range of music that I've always listened to. And then as I'm reacting, the hard part is to find something to react to, since I've heard so much. And then I tried doing like the little reaction videos with the people that will watch the mesmerizing stuff, or life hacks and stuff like that. And I think that's a skill in itself, because as I'm doing it, I'm kind of boring. Like, my reaction's a bit slow, and then something will just like pop out, and I'll be, all right, blue, follow blue. So I know that I don't want to do that. And then I go to, this past 2 weeks, I've been going to a bunch of restaurants and food trucks, and I don't like the viewpoint. I think it's because I was in restaurants for so long, is that when somebody comes up with a camera, they're like, oh, do you want something free, or is he gonna like it or not? And I'm just trying to give my honest opinion about it. And I went to this one spot, and as I'm doing it, this is good, this is good, this is a bit meh, and I don't want to blow up the chef spot or the business's spot by this being not as good. And it just didn't really feel right. So with the idea of like hooking up with my old friends and talking about what's going on with their life, my boy Figs, a friend I've had 5 years now, he said I'm down. So I texted him. We went and did a video this morning, and I mean, it's definitely rough, but it's him and I just walking around downtown Gainesville in Depot Park, and it just felt right. Like, the whole idea of it felt right. But I also want to figure out how to see my friends in Switzerland, Jamaica, Argentina. Because, I mean, again, for 10 years, I traveled around the world. 7 years I spent, how does it work? I think it was 6 years traveling around the States. And then I spent another 8 years traveling around Asia, the Caribbean, Europe. And with COVID going on, I think the viewpoint is that the Americans are stupid, and why is it such a shit show here? I mean, I'm kind of rambling, but it just doesn't. This is going to be a fun one, because I'm going to have to edit the shit out of it. As I made the video with Figs today, I had thought about, what do I want to do? How do I best tell the story that I want? And the goal, right down the road, what I want to do is outfit a RV, with a podcast studio in the back, and then travel around the States first, and then take that mug up into Canada, down into Mexico, South America, go to Europe, get another one, outfit it, and show what life is like. And there's hundreds of these shows, but I think, at least from my viewpoint now, it's that everyone's just jerking each other off. They're so overproduced. And when Chef's Table, for example, came out in Netflix, I lost my shit. I thought it was the best thing ever. And then when 2 came out, I was down, super excited. It wasn't as good, but it was good. And then, all right, follow blue. Now, Top Chef is a thing, and then there's this new Padma show, and I got nothing against them. It's just like so porn. Who are you? This guy, Bob, that is selling ribs. Why are Bob's ribs so good? We don't need to do his rub and how, Guy Fieri, not knocking any of them. Like, entertainment-wise, they're great. But who is this person? Why do they do this? Are they okay? And when I closed the restaurant, drinking and going crazy, mental health is like a serious thing. And yesterday on Facebook, I saw this meme, the fact that Will Smith's crying face is a meme in regards to the whole Jada, Will, August thing. It's ridiculous that men can't have emotion or feeling without being ridiculed and mocked. And dude, that's completely true. So who can I be to Bob the barbecue guy with the awesome ribs that might be struggling with not being home with his kids, or having struggles with his wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband? And you good, bro? Like, Bob, you okay? What's up? And I love being out in the woods. So a lot of the times I want to take the people from their normal everyday, where they're struggling to think about bills and wife and kids, or if it's in the kitchen, a prep list and costs and all that shit, and be like, yo, we got 30 minutes. Let's come out here, feel the earth, breathe some air, maybe not smoke a cigarette for 30 minutes, get your heart pumping a little bit, because you just got to break the cycle every now and then. I did a fun video with my oldest daughter, Rhea. She's 6. And I want to hang out with her as much as possible, but I also need to be focusing on income and how to make money and making sure that all the bills are paid and everything. And sometimes I think that parents that put their kids out on YouTube and TV and all that, they're kind of exploiting the kids. No, Rhea, she's all about it. She's just like me. The crazier, the better. And I make this ninja, animal man, samurai thing with her where we're cutting fruit. And it's fun, but I don't really have like the clear, concise beginning, middle, and end. And it's just a bit like, it was high school project. Now, what would be the difference between that high school project and this high school project is the interaction that I'm hoping to get from everybody watching this. Oof, giant bugs. Was it 2 years ago? I had a mental breakdown, like a mini one. I had just opened up the second restaurant at Crane in Jacksonville, and I was having to go back and forth all the time. And I don't want to say that I wasn't getting any support, but a lot of the frustrations and problems were dumped upon me. I don't say all, a lot. Now, I want to be an advocate for everybody. So the people that were managing the restaurant, they would complain to me, rightly so, what can I do to help? And then the other restaurant, like, everybody's coming to me, this is wrong. And it's an hour and a half away between the two, and I'm trying to make everything work. I'm driving 90 miles every day, so 100, almost 200 miles every day, getting up at 4 a.m. to go drive, and then making sure everything's done, then back to the other one. And I just I can't anymore. And that was really the beginning of the end of my my marriage with my ex, and being a bad father. I'm not around, definitely drinking too much, and so I just snapped. And I ended up just driving to Arizona. So I'm in Florida, and I just drove to Arizona to go see my dad and my brother and my sister, and I drove straight through. So 36 hours, boom, straight over. And certainly selfish, the whole thing of it, because I didn't really let anybody know. And I just show up there, and I'm only there for a day and a half. So I drive 36 hours, I'm there for 36 hours, and we had never had really a moment, like a funeral moment for my mom. And it'd been 4 years since she passed. And so the four of us were together, my dad, my brother Darren, and my sister Caroline, and we all grabbed something of my mom's, and we had a little fire pit out back, and we all burned something, to say goodbye. And it was so emotionally profound for all of us to release that tension and negativity. And then I drove back to Gainesville straight, day and a half there, day and a half back. And as I was driving back into Gainesville, I said, okay, that's it. No more drinking, no more cigarettes. And I just decided to be better for me so I could be better for my kids, be better for everybody, because nothing changes unless something changes, And I joined a gym, and I knew that it was going to be difficult, and I'd get down on myself if I started running because I wouldn't be able to breathe. So for 5 days, I would go into the sauna twice a day. So I get up in the morning, and I would just do a light walk on the treadmill and then sit in the sauna for 20 minutes. And it hurt like hell because everything is just coming out of my lungs. And I was also trying to break the chemical addiction to it. And after 5 days, I didn't want a cigarette or a drink. So I started, it was 1,000 kicks a day was my goal. So for 30 days, I wanted to kick the heavy bag 1,000 times. And I broke it up between side kicks, roundhouse kicks, all of it. And after I skipped one day, and then the next day I did 2,000 kicks. And I went from, it was 50 something minutes the first time, and then I got it down to 30 something minutes. So, all right, I'm gonna turn around. I hope I don't get lost back here. Yeah, so 1,000 kicks. Once I completed those 1,000 kicks at the end of the month, I thought about what's the next most difficult thing. And I didn't want to do some 5K or 10K. I wanted an epic goal that was obtainable. So I found a ultra marathon. Now, marathon's 26.2. This ultra was, what is it called? 50K. So it's 31 miles, 32 miles, something like that. And I just put in the work. Just ran every single day, and I didn't get to complete it because I went the fucking wrong way. And so it's 2 loops. I make the first loop, but because I went the wrong way, it's not like I'm speed demon, you know? I come in and they're like, you can't go back out because your time was too slow. And if we let you out now, you won't be able to be back in time when the whole place is like closed off. You won't be back before dark. And I kept telling him, like, dude, I can make it. Let me just go back out. But he's like, no. And I put it on the gram and Facebook that, I failed. I broke it down. But I drove back to my house and I went out and did the other 15 miles. Because I said I wasn't going to do it. So I went out and did it. And that shit was rough, dude. It was extremely difficult. Because the nice part about running in the trail was that you had that tree coverage, so it wasn't beating down on me. But as I went out, it's 1 p.m. in Florida in October, and it's just beating me up. So I finished it. My feet were all messed, and then I thought about the next most difficult thing, which was a 50 miler. Because the 100 miles, like, dude, that's way too much. So I started training for the 50, and then, February came around, went out for the 50, and I bonked, which means you've got nothing left in your tank. You're not able to complete. So much of it was mental related. I know that I could have finished it, but I was so much in my head that I couldn't go back out. Like, it was, blame it on the nutrition, blame it on my shoes, blame it on this, that. But, I didn't do it. So I went back home a little bit pissed off and disappointed in myself. And then the next week, I signed up for a marathon the night before, and then just went out and crushed it and did it. It was way too hot that time, and they said that there was going to be nutrition and all this shit, but there ain't no excuse, I just walked a big portion of it in the middle, and then I started strong and then finished strong. But yeah, it took me 6 hours. And I mean, disappointment's one thing, but I just wanted to get it done regardless. And I think I miss the tenacity that I used to have. And when I opened up the restaurant, I put everything back into the restaurant. I put my effort into it, my time, and it wasn't what I wanted it to be anymore. And so now when I'm looking at who I am and what I want to do, like, I think I'm born to be on the road and be out there. So, like, coming full circle to it, when I met my ex-wife Francine, stuff happened pretty quick, and very quickly she's pregnant, and Rhea came along, and we moved back to the States, and I put all my effort into opening the restaurant and all my time, and she was just kind of left at home. And I certainly felt guilty about it, because she's in a foreign country without any friends, without any communication, and she has this kid, and the guy that she's married to is coming home, drunk and not engaging and just being a fucking jerk, And where was I going with this? She wanted a normal life. Family, kids, road trips, and it's not that I have anything against it, but I'm just such a free spirit, if you would say that I have to be, I tried my best to calm the demon, or not just be so wild, but I spent so long with my backpack, with Old Blue. Just, where are we going today? Okay, fine, great. Just being able to do whatever I wanted. And that's not necessarily the best thing, right? I'm glad that she made me not quit the restaurant, because a number of times I would come home like, these people are idiots. I can't stand working for them. The owners are just, they're coked up and just a mess. But she was like, okay, you're not going to quit. We're going to push this through. And then I got these great job offers, and I was like, okay, we can finally get out of here. And she's like, no, it's not good right now. So then that built up resentment, because my mental state is like, I can't keep moving on with these people because they're not owning up to what they agreed upon. And when I moved, or like when I went to stay in Jacksonville to open up the second location, that was, I mean, really the beginning of the end. We both talked about it, like, this is either going to be great for the relationship or this is just going to be it. And it started coming to a front that we're really good as friends, but the intimacy, it just really wasn't there. And we were both pushing for it to work, certainly for the girls, but we just came to a time where, after all the arguments and all the yelling, that we're at a place now where we can communicate without just biting each other's heads off, which is great, especially for the girls. So what does that lead to here? When I opened up the Wayward Fox, I got pushed, but in a positive way. I don't mean like pushed like without, against my will. Some friends of mine that own a business, they said, you got to come to this BNI group. I'm like, BNI, what's BNI? It's a business networking group, and they're all over the world. And this particular one that I went to, there's 80 something local businesses that all work with each other, and it's kind of cultish, but I enjoyed the learning experience, because I mean, even within everybody at the BNI group, they talk about how it's kind of cultish, but when they go around the room, they talk about what's, closed business. And if you need a plumber, you've got a plumber on lock. If you need a roofer, you got a roofer on lock. If you need a caterer, that's on lock. Makeup artist, lock. And I just loved that aspect of it, that these people all know each other. And if your neighbor has a problem with the roof, you're like, oh dude, I got a guy. And it's not necessarily like, I got a guy. Like, no, this is a good person with a good business. He will take care of you promptly at a reasonable rate. So, dude, what? I mean, who wouldn't want that? And when I would have the one-to-ones with the different members of the group, it was the best part of the whole scenario for me, because I get to, it's essentially therapy. Not all of them, but the majority of them were therapy, because they would see how much I was struggling and sporadic. And if you're in a restaurant, you're in those doors for, I mean, shoot, I walked 20 something miles. I clocked it on my watch one time, inside of like 2,000 square feet. And when somebody new comes in that's not a part of the business or a customer, and then just, how are you, what's going on, you want to really engage with them and see where you can help them out. And that's what's leading me more towards this whole YouTube walking podcast. I know that the video quality is going to be decent, but maybe the sound quality won't be the best. And then I've tried different mics and, wireless ones and all this kind of stuff. But I think if I just keep it close enough, it wouldn't be that bad. And then it comes down to like the quality of, I'm holding this thing for 30 to 40 minutes and have to keep switching back and forth. But I'm super stoked to move forward. Now I finally have an idea of what I want to do. And I think it's how to execute. It's not I think, like that is like how to execute. I've been working with this, talking with this videographer, and he's been extremely helpful because he's got 5-6 years of experience working with video editing in different kind of scales, whether it be one-to-one film or documentary or commercial, and just his brief knowledge on what I should be focusing on. And then, dude, the beauty of the internet and YouTube is you can find all this information. But I'm old school. Like, I need to talk to somebody to get, I have to mess up. I have to figure it out on my own. Definitely take the advice, but I learn very well hands-on, and when I fuck up, it's one of the best things because it's ingrained in. Like, don't do that again. I think we're coming up on I don't want to walk into that spider again. Got past him. I almost hit him. There was another one. So my oldest daughter is 6, and she's going into first grade. And she doesn't like school. I mean, her first real year of kindergarten last year was half lived, but dude, I loved school. I loved the beginning of the year. You get to see all your friends, get fresh gear, and I really enjoyed I've always loved learning. So it's really weird that my progeny is against learning. And the reason I bring that up is that when I'm doing this filming, I'm learning again. Starting from the bottom, starting from scratch. Even on, Facebook, right? How much information you get from there. Somebody posted, people need to start normalizing starting over in your 30s. Relearning something in your 40s. Trying something new in your 50s. And yeah, I think that's part of all my 2 major midlife crises, if you will. What am I doing? Like, what am I wasting my time for? I'm not happy at this job. I'm not getting any enjoyment out of it. I'm being a jerk at home. Right now, the struggle's real for money. Like, everybody, right? The struggle's real. But why does that have to be everything? Why do we have to focus on money so much? Doesn't anybody else think it's weird tipping? Right? I'm coming through restaurants. I'm 30, I'll be 38, and I started when I was 20. Really started in restaurants when I was, 16? At that age, you make good money. If you're a server, like $300-400 a night. When I was a sushi chef, walking out with $150 cash, boom, every night. It's ridiculous though. Like when you think about it, you have to tip 15%. You have to tip, what? If you're an asshole, you only tip 10. Minimum should be 12. Good person's 15. If you're a really good person, you tip 20. $20? You go out for dinner, it's $100. Here's an extra 20. And now with, dude, they have tip jars at gas stations. They have tip jars at fast food restaurants. I'm not against gratuity, but it's so pushed. Like with the Clover systems, you go to some coffee shop for $6, you know, whatever. And then they flip it around at you. And then they're looking at you as you're doing the tip. They haven't done any service yet. None. You're tipping on the assumption that you will have good service. Nobody else thinks that's weird? Word. That was a good little loop. So I'd like to do this every day. I think for right now, I'm gonna shoot for 3 days a week posting. I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday is good. I'm gonna hit Ocala. I mean, I went down last week, but I'm gonna talk to those guys again and then see if I can do the one-on-one walking with them. I got some homies in Jackson I'm gonna go see, some friends down in Orlando. And then it just, you have to be cautious about who you're in contact with. And there was nobody out here, right? And so I got no mask on. But when I go anywhere, I wear the mask. It's in the car, but you know, I hit my hands with, what do you call that? Hand sanitizer. I go out, talk to people, keep my distance, mask is on. I don't want to do it with the interviews because it's really difficult to pick up the audio. And then when I finish, like nobody's really shaking hands or anything. I get back into my car and then pump, sanitizer. I do my best. And then when I come home, I don't touch my kids, take the clothes off, go take a shower. Once that's all done, then I go and interact with them. Like trying to make every precaution possible, but still, like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. This whole Rona. All right, y'all. I'll hit you up. Peace.